Hello, friends. Mali Pankadith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are interviewing 1,000 community builders and change agents this year. At least that's our goal. And today we have Rocky Romanella. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, and certainly, your community is just just does such great work. So it's an honor to be part of it.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to have you as part of it. So, Rocky, I know that I call you Rocky and your name is Rocco, which I think is really cool. Could you tell our audience a little bit more about you and the work that you're doing professionally in the world today?
Well, thank you for asking. So yeah, call me Rocky. It's just nuns and my mom call me Rocco. So I know I'm in somewhat trouble when I hear Rocco. So, quick background: 36 years at UPS, did some wonderful things there. Worked my way up through the organization. Took on a role as a CEO of a telecom company, and then we had a sale there. And now decided that at this part of my life, I met so many wonderful people, had so many great people mentor me, and hopefully I have mentored them, some people along the way as well, and felt like why not give back if I could through some of the knowledge that I've gained and some of the opportunities that I had along the way. And so today, started a company, 360 Management Services. This is year 3 for us. Keynote speaking, leadership training, and some consulting on the process side, but it also allows me to coach and mentor the people I meet. And so generally when we have consulting, ironically, the team is out doing process improvement. And generally I'm sitting with the CEO, COO, CFO, talking about the culture, the values, and how to take these potentially new ways to do things or new ways to improve their systems. But how do you kind of build that into the culture and the fabric of your organization? So I really enjoy that. And it gives me a chance to give back a little bit.
That's great. Well, everything you do is totally in alignment with what we do. So I remember the first time that we connected, it was through our podcast last year, actually. Gosh, time flies. And I just immediately connected with you because of the work that you're doing, what you stand for. And you're unofficially our mentor anyway. I told you that a long
Yes.
time ago. And I really love the fact that you're giving back. Well, one of the questions that we always ask is having our guests give an example, our change agents that we're featuring, give an example or perhaps experiences along the way that have really showcases the power of compassion and empathy and a commitment to go beyond self to support others. Could you share some examples around that?
It's funny because I think there's the traditional examples that happen, in businesses where maybe you're, as an organization that you're giving back to the community. But one of the more touching things that happened to me is we were supporting a cancer fund and a cancer drive for donations to support the American Cancer Society, and we had a golf outing. And so far pretty typical to what most of us do in businesses, or we're out there trying to give back or work with more traditional kind of venues. And the thing that really struck me at this one event was we were each given a balloon, and if you knew someone in your family that had cancer, you were given a balloon. And so everyone there had a balloon. And so you kind of look around, you think, wow, every one of us has been touched either by a family member, friend, someone we know, coworker. And then so everyone had a balloon, and then they gave you a second balloon, right? And then the second balloon was, they said to us, we'll let you know what the second balloon's for. So the first balloon was all of you who have a family member or friend who's had cancer, raise your balloon. So everybody raise your balloon and let it go and so the balloon goes. And so now you have all the people with the second balloon in their hand. They said, for all of you who lost someone with cancer, please let the balloon go. And we all let the balloon go.
Wow.
And you sat there and you thought to yourself, God, what, it's just it just touched you. It's like, wow. So you had, and it just, from that moment forward, I always said, you know what, we have to thank God every day for the blessings that we have. And yeah, we have difficult days, but not like those individuals, not like my dad who really struggled with it for 4 or 5 years. And you think through, never once complained. And you think about those days that he had, or the people who passed away, like my dad, or and even the people who, I think survived, you know, those people every day, or when they go for their every checkup the first 5 years, every year, and then their 5 year checkup after that, there's always that moment they're walking into the doctors wondering, okay, am I back in the battle again? So for me, that touched me. And so for me, one of the things that I try to do is support cancer research, cancer foundations. And so for us, for example, every book sold, we donate $1 to the Jimmy Valvano Fund to find the cure. And so that's sort of, besides the things you can physically do by being considerate, by being helpful, there's a way for us to, I feel like every book that's sold, hopefully I'm bringing a smile to someone's face through the book, but also through the donation, maybe that's a small token of how we can help, and that moment that day really touched me.
I really appreciate that perspective to how you answered that question, because we have had wonderful responses to that question, an example of particular people or moments in life. But the fact that you talked about an experience that was created for all the folks in the room to experience, that's a new perspective, and I really appreciate that you brought that up. When you think of a community builder and a champion for change, what comes to mind? Who are they in the world? What characteristics do they have?
Well, I think the first thing it starts with is that they realize that it's not about them. How many people do we work for or we come in contact that it starts with them? I mean, think about someone, you worked for that, you're at a meeting and they're sitting there telling you, you don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know how difficult it is to be me. Well, you know what? You signed up for this. You got the promotion, by the way. You're getting paid pretty good money. And oh, by the way, I'm not really interested in your problems right now. And so those are the individuals that it always starts with them. To me, the people that are, the compassionate, the thoughtful leaders, the people who make a difference in their community or make a difference in their organizations, are those people that start with the understanding it's not about them, it's about our people, it's about our community, it's about the people we're trying to work with. And so it has to start with that understanding that it's not about you. And I will tell you, that's very difficult for many people. And so,
Well,
but that to me is the hallmark of that person that makes a difference in someone's life.
I'm sure that that's been validated over the years, with all those years in corporate America, and now going out and doing the leadership development work and the training work that you're doing, right? That it is difficult. It's a practice. It takes several modalities to help us stay mindful and compassionate. And we talk about this a lot here at SEN, is operationalizing these things, right? Operationalizing your values, operationalizing the things that you want to be in the world. How do you self-check that, right? Accountability. So it's really cool that you mentioned that.
Well,
um,
it's also how you think about yourself. So, for example, you're the CEO. I was the CEO of UniTek. When someone would say to me, what exactly is your role as CEO? To me, CEO meant Chief Enthusiasm Officer. Right. I
that's
mean, you're
right.
the chief enthusiasm officer. We all know you're the chief executive. You don't need to tell everybody that. But the difference is you view yourself as the chief enthusiasm officer. You drive change by the way you conduct yourself, by the way you carry yourself, and the energy and enthusiasm that you bring to your organization. That's the difference, right? So it's how you view yourself. It starts with you as the leader.
Hmm. We got some interesting things happening on this interview. You talked about your father who was living with cancer. Mine did as well. You talked about working at UniTek. My first job out of college was with a company called UniTek. What's going on here, Rocky?
Some say coincidence. I say God incidents. There you go.
Oh, love that. So, can you share also, uh, how do you gift yourself, your gifts, your talents, your skills, your life lessons? You mentioned that you donate $1 of every book sold. That's one way. What are some other ways and perhaps causes that are out that you actively support?
Well, I think it starts with your ability to be available, right? So, for example, not everything is a paid engagement. Not every conversation has to lead to, something. I think it's those simple acts of kindness that I think go a long way. It's a hello, it's a thank you, it's please. It's that person. It's how do you view the people in your organization? Are they your employees, or are they people in your care? And so when you think about it that way, well, then you interact with people differently. You talk to them differently. You ask different questions. So I think it starts with that concept of simple acts of kindness, that great leaders are just good people. They start with being good people who are caring people and thoughtful leaders. And I think that's where it starts. And then I think you find those things that you become passionate about, that they're not activities. For me, this working with the Jimmy V Foundation, it's college basketball. Jimmy V, I think he just 25-year anniversary of him passing away, his great speech at ESPN, but his passion, right? So if you can connect, there's so many great causes out there. So if you find those things that you connect with and you're passionate with, then it's not a job or an activity. Well, I'm going to go do community service, or we're going to do Habitat for Humanity. And okay, I feel good, I did something, I check off the box. No, if you do it from a passion, then you're sincere, and people realize that what you do stems from an honest heart. And I think that's why people want to be around you. People ask you questions. And I think that it starts with that.
Mm, really nice. Okay. Well, we know that life is not always easy. We've had some trauma, some losses, some pain, some challenges, and obviously there are many, many, many countless triumphant moments as well. Uh, However, when life does get difficult, or there are moments in our lives that have kind of shifted the way that we might have to operate in the world, is there a philosophy, motto, or quote that you can share that helps you move forward?
Well, so I always believe that you're the architect of your own destiny. So, and I never allow anyone to affect me more than I can affect myself. And so I start there, right? And while we're all going to have difficulties, I think one of the things that helps you through the ups and downs of life is never let your highs get too high or your lows get too lows. And if you can kind of maintain some measure in there, I think what happens is the highs get really high, but then you over celebrate or you lose sight of things. And the next thing you know is the lows are that much deeper because you were up so high. So if you can kind of maintain some level there, I think that's so important. And then I think it starts with, you looking in the mirror and saying, okay, how do I play the hand I'm dealt? I'm dealt this hand. Someone's going to play it the best. Why not me? And so that's kind of how you get through those things. And I think you find those people that you can have that quiet conversation with, or that those individuals that kind of put their arm around you and say, we're going to get through this together, or and I think what happens is we've all had that situation at one time or another, but it's so important to you be that person at times to put their arm around someone else. I mean, I think that's what's important. It's great when someone does it on your behalf, but are you always willing to do it on their behalf because it's time out of your busy schedule? You may be in a great spot. Things may be going really well for you. And you're like, I don't really want to be drugged down with what they're going through. You know what? It works both ways, right? So you pay forward.
Mm, nice. Okay. What does a better world look like through your eyes?
I think to me, the better world is when we can disagree without being disagreeable. And I think when you allow, we all have personalities, we all have things going on in our life. It's okay to disagree, but why do we have to be disagreeable? And I think that's some of the biggest issues in the world today, is that it's not a zero sum game. It's not winners and losers. I think, it's funny when you hear this term savior, right? Everybody thinks they're the savior. Well, when you think about the word savior or saving, it means it's either life or death. Well, it's not always life or death,
Right.
right? And so if we can find ways, but when you think it's life or death, then these conversations that you have or the disagreements that you have become winners and losers. Well, no, maybe there's not winners and losers. Maybe there's people just getting along saying, oh, you know what? Let me think about that. I'll give you a quick example. When someone would walk in my office and, say to me, hey, I think we should do it this way. And I'm like, nah, let's just say I was really very, very firm on, I think this is the right approach we should take. But I'd always tell people, give me 24 hours. And people who work for me always say, just give me 24 hours. Don't worry about it. What do you mean? Because I would always drive home and say, well, wait a second. If I trust Sue, or if I trust Rocky or Johnny, well, then when they come to me with something different, at that point is when I can't say, well, I trusted you up to this point, but now you didn't agree with me, so I can't trust you anymore. So I'd always drive home thinking, well, what is it that makes them think that? Why do they feel that way? And by tomorrow morning, I come back in, all right, look, you know what? It's probably not how I would do it, but you know what? Let's do it. I'm with you. Let's go try it. So as long as you're not asking me to break a law or violate a policy, we can try it then. So I think it's that concept of being open. So that's why I always say, yeah, it's okay to disagree. Why do we have to be disagreeable? So I think if the world was less disagreeable, I think we'd be in a much better place.
Rocky, thank you so much. What great insights. And I love that you're a great storyteller too. No wonder you're getting asked to speak all over the place.
Well,
Absolutely
thank you very much. Thank you.
fantastic. Is there a way for us to connect with you, learn more about you? What are the best ways to do that?
So the simplest way would be the website, www, it's the number three and the word 60, SIXTY, managementservices.com. I wish if I had to do over again, I would have came up with a shorter name, you know, but 360 Management Services. But my email address, which I do answer all my own emails, and I do answer any contact information that comes to the website myself personally, but it's Rocky, Rocky, Romanella, Romanella, at gmail.com. And then the book is on Amazon, 5-star. It's getting great reviews, so I'm very humbled by that. And I think you'll enjoy the book. You'll have some fun. There's great stories. Every chapter has its own story. So Amazon does a great job fulfilling on my behalf. So and I'm doing book signings. So the website, we post up the book signings. Like I said, I'll be on the Eastern Shore on a book signing at a bookstore there. So, and I like the fact I try to stay. Not the Barnes and Noble isn't great. I try to stay at small bookstores though, because I feel like if you could kind of work with small businesses, how great would that be as well?
That's great. Well, keep paying it forward. Thank you so much, Rocky. Thanks for being our unofficial mentor as well. And thanks for all that you do. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you when you come down to DC.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely. We'll make that happen.
Oh,
Thanks so
thanks.
much for your time.
Thank you.
For those that are watching, thanks so much for tuning in and following us on this incredible goal of 1,000 change agents this year. We'd love to have you nominate someone in your life that's creating some solid positive ripple effects, or perhaps nominate yourself. And to learn more about how you can become a member to collaborate more with other change agents, please visit nebula.soar, SOAR, communitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.